Hello and welcome to the Road to Success podcast. This is Landstar's podcast dedicated to small business owners in the freight industry. I'm your host, Marla Walter. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to hit subscribe on your podcast app. On today's episode, we have Scott Ray. He is the Vice President of Capacity Development for Landstar, and he's responsible for recruiting owner-operators who want to become leased on to Landstar. Now, he's been with the company since 1997, so it's safe to say he knows the ins and outs of becoming a Landstar BCO, and he's here to answer the questions that most drivers want to know before they lease on to Landstar. Well, welcome to the podcast, Scott.
Thanks, Marla. I'm happy to be here and to do this podcast. We get asked a lot of questions over and over again from potential recruits, and what a great opportunity to answer them here on this podcast and put it out for people to reference at a later time.
Before we dive in, I want to point out that BCO, or Business Capacity Owner, is the name Landstar gives its independent owner operators, and you'll probably hear it several times throughout the podcast. Scott, why do we call them BCOs? There has to be a meaning because we're the only ones that do it.
Yeah. Landstar realizes that an owner-operator is, in fact, a small business. It's your truck. You make the decisions on how you want to use that truck, when you want to use that truck. So you're more than a driver. And we think there's more to being an owner-operator than just driving. It's a small business. So business capacity owner is a term that better fits you as an owner operator. You're not just a driver, you are a small business owner.
Since Landstar does put that weight just on the name of a BCO, and they're more than just a driver, what are the qualifications, the basic qualifications of becoming a Landstar BCO?
The basic qualifications, we have our minimum requirements, and most of them can be found at leasingtolandstar.com under the FAQ. But just a brief rundown, 23, be a minimum 23 years of age, have to hold a Class A CDL for the tractor trailer division, or Class B CDL for a straight truck. You have to have the truck, you have to have it in your possession to be able to lease it on to us. Got to have a sleeper berth, because we are an over-the-road fleet, mostly, a lot of irregular routes, though we do have some dedicated, but just plan on, running the spot market. Hazmat endorsement is something that is required. So if you're an owner-operator who doesn't have the endorsement and you're thinking about leasing on the Landstar, you can still start the process as long as you make an appointment with your TSA office and go in and get fingerprinted and get that background check started. And then we understand, getting the actual endorsement on your CDL could take a couple of additional weeks. So we'll process you, we'll get you going and qualified, as long as we have proof that you've begun the process of getting your endorsement. And that starts with going to your TSA office and getting fingerprinted and having them do the background check on you.
You mentioned the Hazmat endorsements. What do you get asked frequently? Well, I don't want to run Hazmat. I don't plan on doing it.
We do get asked that pretty quiet. I don't haul Hazmat. Every time an owner operator, like if I'm at an event or talking to somebody who's thinking about leasing on, every time I hear them say, well, I don't do that. I don't haul Hazmat. I don't go to New York City. I don't go to California. I don't go to Canada. When they step into our system and you see how we have our available loads and the independent sales agents that have those loads, and you start building relationships, I could almost guarantee at some point in your Landstar career, there'll be a shipment posted that'll be either Hazmat or going to one of those places you never go. And the pricing on it is going to be extremely good. And you will take it. You will take it. And because our system is so wide open, because you decide as the owner operator when to haul, what you're going to haul, we want everybody, the entire fleet, every owner operator leased to Landstar has a Hazmat endorsement. And so when those opportunities pop up, you might say no today, but once you step into our model and our system, there's a good chance you're going to say yes at some point. And we want to make sure that you have the credentials on your CDL to be able to transport that shipment.
And you mentioned the model. Can we talk a little bit about, because I know this is another one of those frequently asked questions, what is the Landstar model, or what does that mean? And, what does it mean to be leased on to Landstar and become a part of this model?
Sure. It's unique. Not so much. There's other fleets that have independent sales agents and have owner operators leased to them, as well as have a corporate presence. Kind of think about it like a three-legged stool, but our scale is greater than any other fleet. But where the rubber really hits the road is when our BCOs, our independent contractor, connect with those independent sales agents, and because they have the freight. So when you see an available load, when you see a shipment that you want to haul, you contact that agent and have that discussion about, what is the load, what is the frequency, and building that relationship with that agent is what it's all about. So I'll tell owner operators that the less you need Landstar, the better off you're going to be, because that should mean that you've connected with agents and you're loading out, generating the revenue, getting home. All those things are checking your boxes and it's working. Does that mean you can't turn to Landstar if you need help? Sure you can. You absolutely can turn to us when you need help.
Okay, so when you say that when they need help, they can turn to Landstar, what do you mean?
Yes. So from day one, we have a 2-day orientation program that is very hands-on to help you understand how to use the tools we have for you to find those available loads and to find those agents that fit your business needs as an owner operator. And then after that orientation, we have a group that supports you for any questions that you have, from paperwork submission. How do I use my comm data card? Hey, I can't quite figure out how to use this tool, whether it's a load alert or lane match, any of those tools that you got exposed to in orientation, those people kind of help reinforce that. And then if you've been here 10 years, that same group is there to answer questions you might have regarding anything that could possibly come up. And Marla, I just want to throw this at, and I get asked this a lot. We have about 10 people in our recruiting department. On our BCO support staff, these are just folks at our field operating centers, and in our BCO services group, we have about 60 of those people in place just to support our BCOs from a business standpoint. So when I tell people that, no, I don't have 60 recruiters and 12 people to help you out once you're leased on, it's flip-flopped. We're always have staff available to help BCOs, new or old, when they have questions.
You've got the Landstar Support to help support launching your business, sustaining your business, growing it. But what are some of the services or perks that a BCO will have access to once they're leased on? Sure.
The most popular program is our Landstar Contractors Advantage Purchasing Program, which everyone calls LCAP. So once you get familiar with LCAP, that'll make perfect sense to you. And that is the program that is responsible for those vendor relationships. So when you need to get fuel, you'll get anywhere from 25 cents flat discount at some fuel stops to a variable savings, which as of yesterday, it was $1.20 in some fuel stop locations. So the fuel savings are the most used, obviously, and create the greatest buzz. We also can provide you really good discounts on tires. At some point, you're going to need tires on your tractor or your trailer, and we've made that process of buying those tires and getting those discounts extremely easy. Those are the two most used, but there's also discounts on cell phone programs, motels, vendor on trucks, new and used trucks. So there's a lot of other perks built in there, but the fuel and tires are the two biggest ones. And then Marla, kind of a perk that we don't really, if somebody's saying about leasing on a Landstar, I don't throw this out as a selling point. It's just one of these things we've always done as a fleet, which once a year over the summer, we invite our 1,000 plus million-mile safe drivers to an event where we celebrate their achievement, and it's all about them. And we do that once a year, and we also give away a truck at that event.
Yes.
A brand new truck. And yes, we've been able to secure a truck, because the last couple of years it's been kind of challenging to get trucks and parts. So we give a truck away. It's yours. There's no strings attached. You lease it on for a year, but you don't pay. You lease it on for a year. You don't pay the taxes on it. The truck's yours. Then we do a general appreciation event for the entire fleet. The entire fleet's invited to it, and that rotates at different locations around the country. We invite BCOs and their spouses to attend. Great opportunity to network with agents, with employees that maybe you've talked to on the phone but never had a chance to meet. There's lots of food, door prizes, and again at that event, we give away a truck to some lucky BCO. So those are two perks. I think they're pretty significant that we don't really toot our horn about, but it's just built into the culture at Landstar.
I know they sure do generate a lot of buzz and excitement, and not just the truck giveaway, but the events too are really special. But I do want to talk about the nitty gritty that I'm sure you get asked a lot, and it's what kind of money can I make?
We do get asked that a lot. So folks have to understand that in our system, you're settled based on a percentage of the line haul. And when the rates are up, your percentage of that line haul is up. When rates are more along a normal trend, then your percentage of that line haul might be a little bit lower than it was. Like the last 2 years, we've been in unprecedented spot market. So that percentage, as those rates went up, every one of those BCOs that were hauling freight, we're making more money, taking home more money. So you can be comfortable generating $80,000 in gross revenue a year. I personally know solo BCOs that are over 300,000. And so it's all over. We have different modes. You can pull a van, flatbed, step dig, heavy specialized. It's really going to be up to you. The system doesn't say, hey, I leased on pulling a van. That's all I have to do is pull a van. You don't have to do that. You can look at the available loads and make a decision. Hey, is flatbed the way to go? So your revenue potential is really up to you. You're not locked in to $1.50 a mile. It's just not the way the system works. It's variable.
And you've talked a little bit about, at the minimum, you have to have a truck with a sleeper berth, but is there a benefit to a BCO investing or having other types of equipment?
Absolutely. We have a group of BCOs in the fleet who have their own van and have added things like lift gates, because they've made relationships with agents, with their independent sales agents that have, like concert freight, and lift gates at times can be useful. So they have invested in adding a lift gate to their van to open up more specialized loading opportunities And that typically means that the pricing on those shipments are going to be a little higher than general van freight. Some other things I've seen BCOs, Marla, lease on with a van, and 15 years later, they're pulling a heavy specialized trailer, and they did that through their time at Landstar, seeing that, hey, there's opportunities to get more specialized. We offered those opportunities. Landstar did. One of the things, I'm jumping around a little bit, this particular BCO went to our securement class. So I talked about orientation a little while ago. A lot of folks don't know, hey, I don't have flatbed experience or step deck experience. We have a class in Fort Worth, Texas. It's a 2-day class where you can go spend 2 days, get hands-on practical experience on securing a shipment. And then you spend a day in the classroom going over the regs just to make sure you're staying compliant. And that can be a starting point from going to a van, to a flatbed, to something heavy specialized over a period of time. So that when you step into this system, you're not locked into any particular thing. You can see the opportunities, and you can put yourself in a position to take advantage of those opportunities.
If you're a capacity provider and you only have a tractor, does Landstar have trailers and other things available to BCOs if you don't have the trailer?
That's a great question, and a common one that we get. Yes, we have company vans, company flatbeds, company step decks, company heavy specialized trailers. So we have those. We have those available. So you don't have to lease on with your own trailer. You can certainly use a company-owned trailer.
What's the benefit of using a company-owned trailer or the benefit of using your personal trailer? Is there a difference?
Yeah, the fundamental difference is if you have your own trailer, you'll get a trailer percentage. So you'll actually get a higher percentage on each load that you haul, because your trailer is going to generate some revenue with you. So our standard tractor percentage is 65%. And then if you bring your own trailer, lease that on, that trailer revenue will add anywhere from 7 to 10% additional revenue on top of that 65. The benefits of pulling a company trailer there's twofold primarily. Number one, you don't have the expense of going out and buying your own. And number two, let's say I've always pulled a van and I want to switch to a flatbed or a step deck. Pulling a company flatbed or step deck gives you the opportunity to try it before you go out and invest in your own flatbed or step deck. Go the other way too. Maybe you don't want to pull your flatbed anymore. I'm thinking about buying a van. Pull a company van and see if those lanes and those agents align with your business needs.
Another question that kind of goes along the lines of how much money can I make? How does Landstar handle insurance? Because that'll take a dent out of the money that you can make.
It will do. So when you lease on to Landstar, you're covered under our auto liability insurance, and also our cargo insurance. So those are two of the things that Landstar provides to the owner operators that lease on. What you as an owner operator will have to provide is the occupational accident coverage. Some people call it workers' comp. You'll have to provide that. You can obtain that through Landstar. If you have a tractor that you're still paying on, your lender will want you to have physical damage insurance. So you'll want to obtain that. You can get that through Landstar, or you can get that one on your own. That's going to be completely up to you. And then our bobtail unladen, you're going to need that, and you can obtain that through Landstar. So that's how the insurances work out. So if let's say you're thinking about leasing a Landstar and you've had your own authority for a period of time, knowing that you won't have to pay an auto liability premium or cargo insurance premium because Landstar is you're going to be covered under our policy. That in itself is a bit of a cost savings.
We've talked about trailers and owning trailers and the minimum requirement of having a truck with a sleeper berth.
Yep.
But what about an older truck?
That's a common question. Hey, how old can my truck be, or what's the age requirement on leasing a truck on? We don't have an age requirement, but we do have two requirements. The first one is that truck has to be compatible with an ELD. That usually means an electronic engine, and that usually means your tractor should be a 2000 or newer tractor. I've seen some that are 98, 99s that are compatible with an ELD. That's fine. We have to make sure that it is compatible with an ELD. And then the second one is that tractor has to pass an inspection at a Landstar inspection facility. And those are scattered throughout the country, typically at a TA or a Freightliner dealer or somebody like that. So those are the two tractor requirements.
And what if I don't have a tractor, but I am just determined to be a Landstar BCO? Are there any, or it's time, I guess, if, I've got one, but if I'm going to make this business work, I need a new one. Is there a purchase program through Landstar?
We do not offer a lease purchase program. We don't finance tractors. If somebody, you're better off to find somebody locally to buy a truck through. If that doesn't work out, we do have a couple of vendors that we've worked with over the years. We'd be more than happy to share their contact information. Just call into our recruiting department at 800-435-4010. We'll be more than happy to give you that information. And we also have we have existing BCOs with small fleets that have open trucks. So maybe you're somebody that, hey, before I go out and invest in a truck, I want to get my feet wet, and you can drive for one of our fleet owners. And again, through recruiting, we'd be more than happy to give you that list of fleet owners that have empty trucks, give you a chance to talk to them about the Landstar system as well, see if there's somebody that you want to work for, because you'll be working for that fleet owner, and then give you an opportunity to kind of get your feet wet in the system before you make the decision to become an owner operator yourself.
All right. So we've pretty much covered it all, except for I think there's one huge question that probably gets asked all the time. How do you find loads at Landstar?
That is a great question. And part of our orientation program involves hands-on experience using our Landstar One app. We have an app that you can use to do all kinds of things, from just doing a load search out of, let's say you just want to see what van or flatbed freight's available out of Jacksonville, Florida. I can do that. Let's say I'm under a load. I loaded in Jacksonville and I'm going to Columbus, Ohio. We have a feature called Load Alert that the system will automatically, as soon as you're under dispatch from Jacksonville to Columbus, the system will automatically start looking for reloads for you out of Columbus, Ohio, and you can set your criteria. So let's say I want to go to Columbus, but I'm only looking for freight from going to Dallas, Texas. Fine. I'm only looking for freight that pays, X per mile. Fine. You can put filters and criteria in there, so it only notifies you of the available loads that meet your business criteria. Maybe the most popular available loads tool out there is the Follow Me. And then, not to mention, there's other features on that Landstar One app that you can use, such as, hey, I know I'm in Jacksonville, but I know somewhere around Knoxville, I'm going to have to fuel up. you can use that Landstar One app to see what fuel prices are in Knoxville. You can see the different fuel vendors. You can see the pump price. You can see the Landstar discount. You can see the state fuel tax. So you can get a net cost to you on that fuel purchase. So that allows you to kind of plan your trip. So you don't, just roll through Knoxville wondering if the fuel at the Flying J is less expensive than the fuel at the TA. You have that intelligence prior to getting in there and to help you make those business decisions. Fuel is your most expensive cost. Help you make those decisions in advance.
Thank you so much, Scott, for taking the time to answer these questions. And I'll make sure to put in the comments and in the description of the episode the number to call recruiting if anyone is interested in leasing on the Landstar.
Perfect. Appreciate it. It was fun.
That is all the time we have for this episode. Please hit subscribe if you haven't already so that you're the first to know about our next episode. Stay safe, stay successful.